It may seem an odd way to begin, but I'm going to attract birds to my yard. And step one is to dig a post hole. What I want to do is mount a trellis up against this shed. It'll not only make the shed look nicer, but when I plant my red blooming honeysuckle on it, it'll bring hummingbirds into the yard. My first step is to dig a post hole and set a couple of posts in here. Someday I may have to repaint this shed. And what I want to do is be able to fold my trellis down with the vines growing on it, paint the shed, put the trellis back up without harming the vines at all. It's called a hinged trellis, and here's how you do it. Post hole first. It's important when you're setting these posts that the front faces be parallel. So take a string and line up both faces of the posts. Also, the top of the post must be exactly the same height. So take your string, using a string level, set it on top of the posts and make sure that both are the same height and perfectly level with one another. And they are. Our next step is to build the trellis, and then we'll mount it to the hinges. The hinge, of course, will fit on the front of the post and fold open this way so that the trellis can lean away from the building. It'll be much easier, much less awkward, to mount the hinges on the trellis first and then mount them to the posts. That means, though, that we need to know the distance very accurately between the two posts. And I've put them 59 inches apart. So I need to center my hinges on the trellis 59 inches so they fit perfectly. Now what I've done is miter the ends of these 1x2s. They're going to form the frame for my trellis. And of course, you can make this trellis out of anything you'd like, and in fact you can customize it to fit any space. I have a 4x8 sheet of lattice that I'm working with, and of course it's treated. The frame will decorate the hard edges, but it'll also serve to support the screws in the hinge, which will be mounted in such a way that the trellis can lean away from the shed when we mount it. When you're working with lattice, be sure to pre-drill your holes so that you don't split it. And I'm putting the lattice on from the back so that the screw heads don't show when we put our trellis up. I've mounted corner brackets on the front side of the trellis for added strength and stability. The next thing we need to figure out is exactly where to mount our hinges. Now we know that this trellis is 8 feet long, and that's 96 inches. We also know that the center of our posts are 59 inches apart. When we subtract 59 from 96, that's 37 inches. So half of 37, or 18.5 inches, is where we ought to locate our hinges. In fact, right here. With the hinges mounted in the proper place, we simply place the trellis on top of our 4x4s. And I've attached an eye hook up here so that the trellis doesn't fall over during the growing season. Make sure that's good and tight. And then we screw in the hinges to the 4x4 post. When you choose your vine, be sure it's one that climbs by twining. This won't work for an ivy or something like that. Honeysuckle, clematis, jasmine all work well. And of course, what we've done is beautify a building, and yet with the flip of an eye hook, we've allowed for continuing maintenance without damaging our perennial vines.